Everybody wants to know the secret of becoming more successful. And they think it's to set bigger goals, to work harder, to become more disciplined. And those are okay, but what if you're actually focusing on the wrong thing? Because your future isn't necessarily determined by the goals that you chase, as much as it's determined by the standards that you refuse to compromise. The things that are the absolute non-negotiables in your life. And the things that are non-negotiables between a successful person and an average person are night and day different. And so if you want to reach an entirely different level in your life, you probably don't want to just raise your goals. You probably need to actually raise your standards and your minimums. And if you use what I'm going to teach you in today's episode, it could completely change the way that you operate in your life. So let's get into it. So I'm a pilot, and in aviation, the FAA gives you legal minimums that below this line, you're breaking the law. And they're very specific numbers that you cannot go past or below or whatever it might be. Like one of them, for instance, is how much extra fuel to plan on a flight that is past the amount that you need. And yeah, you could do that if you want to, but almost every good pilot that I know is not going to stick to that number. They've got their own number and it's much stricter. So instead of like 30 minutes, it might be 45 minutes. It might be an hour of extra fuel because 30 minutes might be what they recommend, but it doesn't leave you a whole lot of room if things go bad. And so let me show you how this actually ties back into your own life so that you can use it, because this is important to understand, okay? What we need to figure out is your personal minimums in every area of your life. And after you set your personal minimums, for instance, in aviation, you write them all down with pen and paper, and then you have to follow those in every single flight that you have. And I realized as I was setting my own personal minimums, like, oh my God, this is what we need to do in our own lives. Like people kind of have an idea of a personal minimum, like, oh, I'm probably not going to eat food that's been on the floor outside. Like that's in the back of your head. But once I realized this in aviation, I was like, I need to go home with a notebook and ask myself some questions. I asked myself a question I never asked myself before. Where in my life do I have a goal, but no floor that I've actually written down? And the answer was everywhere. Like I had all of these goals in life, in my relationships, in my business, in my physical goals, in my bank account goals. And those are all like ceilings that I'm trying to break through, but I didn't have any real floors written down. Like none that were written down, at least. Like they're kind of in the back of my head. Like I'm obviously not going to do this. Am I going to do this? But like actually write them down. So the floor is the standard that you will not allow yourself to fall below. These are absolute non-negotiables, no matter what, that hold our entire lives up. This is like the I will never fall below this line. And otherwise, it's like you're building your life on like faulty foundation, and that's going to make your life crumble at some point in time. And so I do think goals are very important, but I actually think, to be honest with you, that identifying your floors and raising your floors incrementally might actually be more important. So if you want to change your life, you should change your floors. You should change your non-negotiables. And we will be right back. Hey, real quick, if you're someone who sets a goal, gets really fired up for a couple weeks, and then somehow ends up right back with the same habits that you swore that you were done with, this is for you. Listen to me for just a second. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you don't have enough discipline. It's because you're trying to create a new life with the same identity that you've always had. So you have to understand you will always act in alignment with who you believe that you are. So if deep down you see yourself as somebody who quits, someone who never follows through, someone who always falls back into the same old patterns, then you will keep proving that story true over and over again. And until you change that old identity underneath it, nothing will change. That's why on August 27th, I'm hosting a completely free live workshop where I'm going to show you how to identify the patterns that have been controlling your decisions without you even realizing it, how to break those patterns, and then how to shift your identity so that the actions that you want to take finally match the life that you say that you want. So if you're ready for change and you don't want to stay the old version of you, go to 2026workshop.com right now or scan the QR code that's right here to save your free spot for August 27th. So go ahead, save your seat, and I'll see you there. And now back to the show. Let me explain to you exactly what I mean by this, right? A goal is what you're reaching for. It's what you want to hit. It's outside of your normal, and your minimum is what you refuse to go below. And I say it this way, no matter what, I'm doing this. To dip below this line is absolutely unacceptable. And your life isn't determined by like your best days where you're just breaking through ceilings. Your life is determined by your floor, your non-negotiables on the days where you don't really feel like doing what you set out to do. And when you honor a minimum, you feel proud. And I'll give you examples like a fitness minimum, for instance, or a bank account minimum or a business minimum. But when you honor a minimum, you feel proud about what you've done every single time, because a lot of times when you're hitting a minimum, it's because you've had a hard day. It's because you got bad news, because things are kind of off the rails and you really weren't expecting this to happen today, but you still said, you know what, I'm going to hit this minimum because it is important to me that I show up for myself, right? It is a standard that you will hold. It is a boundary that you're setting for yourself. So you've got to figure out, what are my floors now? And you probably have some that you've just never really gotten clear on. And then what do I need to raise my floors to so that it makes it easier to actually hit my goals? Because it will make it easier to hit your goals when you actually start to raise your floors incrementally. So let me give you a couple of different categories, and I'll give you some examples of how you could use this in your life, right? So let's say fitness, for instance. Everybody's got fitness goals, especially if it's around New Year's. Everyone's like, I want to lose 30 pounds. I want to work out 5 days a week. That's great. I think that those are important, but what are your non-negotiables that make getting there easier? For instance, you could say like, I never go more than 2 days in a row without moving my body. Okay, that's a good one. So I might miss a day because things happen, but I never go more than 2 days. And that's what a minimum is. And you can also find your minimum for like what it is that moving your body means. It means no less than 30 minutes. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to stretch for 3 minutes and that's quote unquote move my body. It's like, no less than 30 minutes. And it might be yoga counts. It might be a long walk counts. It could be that you do a 30-minute high intensity interval training on YouTube. Some days it's going to hit the fan, but at least I'm doing those 30 minutes. That's what you're saying to yourself. Or it could be, hey, no matter what, every day I do no less than 8,000 steps a day. And your goal could be 10,000 steps. It could be 12,000 steps. And you might hit that on most days. But when you have a day that's busier than normal, or something happens, one of the kids gets sick, or you're sick, or whatever it might be, you're like, you know what? I'm going to just get 8,000 done. And I won't let myself go to bed before then. That's what you could say. I will not let myself go to bed, even if it requires you to walk around your neighborhood at 10 p.m. Now, is that going to happen very often? Rarely. Probably because of the fact that you now know that there's a minimum that you're definitely going to hit no matter what, that you don't want to have to walk around your house at 10 o'clock in the evening. So you're going to definitely make sure that you schedule it out and get it done, right? So there's some fitness examples. The second thing would be like health and food, right? People, they'll build rules as restrictions. They'll say like, I don't eat this or don't eat that or whatever it might be. But some days kind of go crazy, and some days you forget to get food, or some days something goes wrong. And so you've got to build floors. And so a floor would be like, hey, I stop eating at 8 p.m. every single night, or I don't keep junk food in the house, or I never eat fast food. I will fast instead. Like that's a personal minimum that I have, is you will never catch me eating fast food. I will fast and eat nothing instead of put inside of my body. Another thing you could have is like, I don't eat seed oils, or I don't eat anything that has more than 3 ingredients on the package, or don't drink alcohol on the weekdays. Once again, the point of the floor is not to be like, oh, I only do this when hits the fan. The point is designed so you're saying, hey, as a person, this is who I am. I do not do less than this. So what are my floors now? Let me look at all of my floors. And then where do I need to raise my floors so that I can actually get closer to my goals? All right. So let's use another one. Let's say your relationship, right? Your romantic relationship. I'll give you some examples. Maybe it is we do a date night every single Friday, and understand that every couple of months I kind of hit the fan. So maybe it's, we'll do it every single Friday. If, things get kind of crazy, never more than 2 weeks in a row. It could be something like if a conversation gets heated and somebody uses our code word, like flamingo or what, a fork or something like that. If that code word is used and we're starting to get heated in an argument, we disconnect for 30 minutes. We leave, we go in separate rooms, we do breath work, we center ourselves, and then we come back and talk about it clearly so we don't say something that we regret, right? Or it could be we never go to bed angry, even if we have to stay up for 2 hours and talk about it. Or we have at least 15 minutes of uninterrupted conversation every single day. Or I tell my partner I love them every single day. Do you see this? I hope I'm getting the point across. It's just like, this is who I am. I do not fall below this standard. That's what we really need to figure out for ourselves. Okay, the next one is your kids, right? This one's different because you can't have a minimum that's like, I never lose my temper, because that's a fantasy. That's not a minimum, right? If you fail, you're not a bad parent. It just, makes you realize, okay, then I need to probably think I should never lose my temper, but I should probably come up with something better. And so the minimum shouldn't be like, I never lose my temper. The minimum could be like, I never let a rupture go unrepaired. If I snap, I go back to my child, I get on the floor and I'm like, hey, I was frustrated. It wasn't about you. I'm so sorry. And I say that before the day ends, right? It could be I eat dinner with my family 5 times per week. It could be I finish all of my work stuff before I walk into the house. When I get home, I put my phone away and now I'm in family mode. Work mode can start again tomorrow at 9 a.m., right? Another could be like, I don't discipline when I'm angry. So if you're hot, you might say like, I need a minute. You take a couple minutes and get into a better state, because whatever you say in the angry state is not going to be good. So it's like, you might take a few minutes and then you come back and you decide what you should do. Or like when you feel, I feel a fire boiling up. I'm just going to disconnect for a minute. I'm going to go into another room. I'm going to center myself, right? These are all different standards that we need to set ourselves to in some sort of way. And the last quick category I can give you is business, for instance, for those of you guys that are business people. A goal is a revenue number. A minimum is what keeps you actually alive long enough to hit the revenue number. So it could be something like, I don't let cash go below 6 months of operating expenses, right? That's a hard floor. It's not a preference. I don't sign anything on the same day that I'm shown it. Or before I make a big decision, I sleep on it for at least 24 hours to allow my brain to fully process it and I can see all the angles. Or every single Monday morning or Friday afternoon, I look at the company's numbers and then I project what I need to do next week. Or I don't start a project until I've decided what I'm going to deprioritize and set, right? Do you see how this works? So the important part of all this is that it has to be written down onto a piece of paper, right? There was a sociologist named Diane Vaughn, and she studied the Challenger disaster, that happened with the space shuttle. And she came up with a phrase that I think about pretty often, and it is normalization of deviance. And what it means is if you break the standard a little, nothing bad is really going to happen. And so your brain files that away as proof that the standard wasn't a big deal. It was kind of too strict. So the next time you break a little more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and the deviation quietly becomes a new normal in your life. That's how marriages end. That's how a body falls apart. That's how a business fails. It's not a big dramatic moment. It's like a slow drift away from the standards over time. And so you have to sit down with pen and paper and write them down, because a standard that only lives in your head will, depending on the situation and your mood, it will accommodate whatever you need at that moment, right? And that's the point of the floor. The point of the floor is there's no deviating away from this thing. And so the 3 rules that you want to follow in this, right? Number 1, write them down on a normal day. A day when it's just a normal Wednesday. It's just nothing's wrong. Nothing's going crazy. Never in the moment, you're just going to write them down. Go and get coffee tomorrow morning. You're going to write down the floors in your life. The second thing that you want to do is make them binary so that you cannot debate it. This isn't a suggestion. It's a minimum. Did I hit this goal? Yes or no. Did I hit this floor? Yes or no. Did I drop below it? Okay, I said I was going to do 30 minutes and I did 25 minutes. Yes, I did drop below. That's binary, right? And then the third one is to read them again often, right? We're not forgetting these. These are not some fun exercise that we do at the beginning of the year and we forget it by March. These are standards that we live our entire lives by. And so I want you to think about it. What are your non-negotiables? Because you probably have goals. You probably have a vision board. You probably have something that you're writing towards. You probably have an idea of how much you want to weigh and how often you want to go to the gym and how much money you want to make. And you probably thought about them 400 times, but almost nobody listening has ever written down their floors. And when you figure out your floors, you actually start to go, okay, that floor is actually too low for what I'm trying to build my life to. So I'm going to actually need to raise that floor. Your floors are what's holding up everything else that you're building in your life. And these are the things that you will never fall below. And the people who truly succeed in life aren't necessarily just ones with the biggest goals. They're the ones with the strictest minimums. And they raise those minimums little by little, month by month. So set your floor first, and then you can go as high as you want. Hey, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you love this video, click this one right here. This is the one that you need to watch next. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any more of these episodes, click that button right there. Make sure you subscribe and check out the next one.